tailgates, Friday night lights, and crowds of cheering fans are no longer the reality of college sports in 2020. Instead, many stadiums and arenas will go empty, with the athletes that once occupied them facing the impacts of this devastating change. Hello, my name is Deshaun Cooper, and today I'll be talking to you about student athletes affected by the COVID pandemic. COVID, also known as the coronavirus, is a virus that has spread worldwide in this year of 2020, greatly affecting the United States, causing many businesses and workplaces to close, leaving workers stranded and jobless. For student athletes, places such as training facilities and gyms being shut down is a real struggle. Being not able to work out as an athlete could be detrimental towards the way they perform in the future when it comes to their athletic ability or just their overall feeling for the sport. So it could be very draining on the athletes mentally, and just overall be a complete change for worldwide athletes and how they perform in the future due to this pandemic. By the New York Times, 16,000 colleges had 252,000 cases. Scott Carlson, a senior writer at the Chronicle of Higher Education, estimates that about 20% of American colleges or universities are offering primarily in-person classes, while 16% are offering a mix of in-person and online experiences. Many others are completely virtual. The budgets of many college athletics departments have taken a serious hits amid the pandemic, and as a result, many schools have had to make cuts. Stanford University said this summer it would discontinue 11 varsity sports. The University of Iowa cut men's and women's tennis teams. Men's tennis is no longer at 12 Division I schools, and men's track is gone at 9. Departments are also dealing with pay cuts, furloughs, and layoffs. The athletics department at the University of Texas Austin generated a record $224 million last year, more than any other college or university. Since the pandemic started this year, the number has greatly dropped because they're not making the same money from sports and other programs that usually have before COVID. Because I am a student athlete, the topic of how student athletes are dealing with COVID is a big issue to me. Dealing with this issue firsthand, I see many others like me going through the same struggles, such as practice facilities being closed, games being canceled, and just not being able to play at all. I think it's important to acknowledge what these student athletes are going through and how they are persevering through the obstacles and cancellations. Me, myself, I've been finding ways to work out by going out to the track and running. Even though I have no way of getting into the weight room because that could be a possible spread of COVID, I try to find ways to get my lifting going, trying to do push-ups and ply-outs, tossing tires around, whatever I can get my hands on really. And that's just me as an athlete. But just getting by barely. The audience will find this topic interesting because they are also dealing with drawbacks from COVID. Also, it'd be interesting to see it from a student athlete's perspective. Although many people aren't dealing with what student athletes are dealing with, the idea is basically the same, that many things are being closed due to COVID and the possibility of spreading it. So people are just closing things down, and the fact that we are all dealing with this struggle, we can all relate. And just explaining, because everyone already knows what's going on with people's jobs and jobs being lost, and it's the top topic for COVID and what people are dealing with. But it's also good to bring up, the younger group, which is student athletes, who are also greatly impacted by this. I believe that student athletes and sports in general at colleges and schools bring a lot of funding and money, and it's on high demand for some sports such as basketball and football. So I believe that this topic will be of great interest to most, and hopefully will draw